Welcome, friends of the Greasy Shop Rag. Today we're going to take a look at a Stihl MS290 chainsaw. The customer complaint is that it won't hold an idle. So let's look into the fuel tank and see what he's got going on here. The fuel inside the tank, I mean, it looks alright. Smells alright. Looks like there's a filter connected to it. I didn't see any water on the bottom of the tank. Let's try and fish that filter out of here. I must not be using the right kind of bait because it doesn't want to come out. There we go. I'm going to take that filter off of there and I'm going to pressurize that fuel line. I'm going to put 10 pounds of pressure on it. The goal is to see if there's a hole in the fuel line or if the carburetor's got a leak. Looks like it's excuse me. It looks like it's holding pressure. We'll just throw that filter back in there. I want to run this saw and see what he's experiencing as far as it not wanting to idle. You know, this is a wonderful cap, isn't it? You gotta love these things. Anytime that you have to double check whether the cap is on there or not, probably not a great design. Well, let's take a look at the air filter here. Yeah, I mean, not terrible. It's dirty, but it's not been neglected. We'll get that filter off of here. Yeah, the filter's alright. A little dirty, not trashed. Not the reason why it won't idle. Let's get this boot off of here. Kind of stubborn. Just be careful when you're pulling them stubborn boots off that you don't tear it away and leave the metal terminal on the spark plug separated from the wire. The spark plug doesn't look like it's been in there that long. So I think he tried to fix his problem by replacing the spark plug. Now, what I'm looking for is clean and shiny. I don't want to see any vertical scoring lines. And I'm taking a pretty good hard look into this cylinder. You know, sometimes any fuel or oil residue left in the cylinder can look like a vertical line in there. You really got to put an eyeball on it. I'm also taking a look at the muffler to see if there's any evidence of anything having gone through the engine and collecting at the spark arrestor screen. What I found in the cylinder and the muffler, it all looks normal. I mean, the thing's an older saw and it's got some wear on it, but it's not scored. And if it did have an air leak that was going to score the engine, you know, then it would run fast and it wouldn't idle. I really don't know if his idle problem is too fast or too slow. Let's run this thing and find out. You know, I'm not a big fan of that whole cross shaft, choke lever, stop switch kind of mechanism there. It wasn't really my proudest moment either, having that thing come apart. But that's what happened. Let's try it again. Okay, so we found out that his complaint that it won't idle is not because of a potential air leak in a lean condition and a fast running idle. It feels more like a lack of fuel, slow speed, won't stay running kind of idle problem. We're going to pull this carburetor off here and take a closer look inside and see if we can find a reason for that. So the first thing I did was pop off the throttle rod. It snaps into the lever on the trigger, and then it just rocks out of the arm on the side of the carburetor. There's going to be two 8mm nuts that hold this carburetor in place. We'll get them out of there. Got a little plate holding that on. Now what's going to be left? A fuel line. Somehow there's an impulse line connected to this carburetor. We're going to get the fuel line first, so we crack the cap, push the line off. Cracking the cap keeps any extra pressure in the tank from squirting fuel out the end of that hose. But we're going to plug it anyway, and then we'll try to remember to tighten the cap down. The impulse line is kind of built into the end of the carburetor there and the intake boot, so there's not a separate hose on this one. I took a look inside the intake boot just to see. Everything looked good. I didn't see any evidence of deformation. I didn't see any evidence of being deformed or any evidence of there being a crack in it. And I really didn't expect to, but I also kind of like to look at the piston skirt and see how beat up it is. But here's our real problem right here. We got the micro screen of the carburetor just plugged with schmutz. You know, any fuel that's being pulled into the carburetor goes through this micro screen before it gets into the metering chamber. And if it can't get through the screen, then you're not going to have enough fuel to run the saw properly. Let's take a look at the metering diaphragm side of the carburetor. We have 4 screws that have to be removed, and then we can lift that cover off the top of the metering diaphragm. This one's stuck down pretty good. We're going to take a razor blade and pop it off of there. And it feels a little stiff. It will run like this for a while. It's not trashed. It's going to get replaced because we're going to put a kit in here. But I don't think the metering diaphragm was the reason for the idle problem. So we need a kit. We identify it by Walbro HD, and then there's another set of numbers, in this case 239. And we can use that information to look up what kit we need. And we just want, well, in this case we're going to get the full kit. You can also get a soft kit, I guess they would call it, with just the fuel pump, the metering diaphragm, and the gaskets. But this kit's going to have the needle and the lever and a micro screen. So there we're setting the new micro screen down in place. And I'm just using the back of a hex bit to push it into place. Now what I like to do is, because they usually give you more gaskets than you need, I just sort them out and figure out which ones I'm going to need. There's our fuel pump. And unfortunately, this gasket is stuck to the fuel pump plate. So that's going to take about 10 minutes with a razor blade to clean that up. I'm not going to show you that 10 minutes of cleanup. So here we have our new fuel pump gasket, or diaphragm, whatever you want to call it. Basically, it's the fuel pump. And then we need a gasket for it. Now, are these two gaskets the same? I don't know. They kind of look like they're the same. I don't know why they gave me two of them. Now, some people stack them on the carburetor like I just did, and some people will stack them on the plate and then set the carburetor on top of the plate. Doesn't matter how you do it. Single screw is going to hold this plate in place. There we go. And then we'll get to the metering diaphragm side of the carburetor. There's one screw that holds the cross shaft in place for the metering lever. If I loosen that up, I can slide the lever over, and or I can slide the cross shaft over and lift the lever out. There's our needle, our new needle. I'm just wiping the protective coating off that's on the new needle. And then we'll load it into the metering lever. And you got to get things oriented here a little bit. So I can drop the needle, the lever, and the cross shaft all on top of the spring. Then slide the cross shaft over like that. And then tighten down the screw. The first time you do this, it's a real pain in the butt. And it gets easier and easier. So I'm checking the metering lever height. In this case, that top of that metering lever is supposed to be flush with the sides of the carburetor. And I just used a razor blade to check that. Now this gasket, it goes down before the metering diaphragm. And you can only put it one way. But you got to, take a look at it. Make sure you got it the right way. Metering diaphragm goes on top of it, and then the cover. And this cover is going to have 4 screws that hold it down into place. Now I was just orienting the cover. There's a rubber boot on there that is part of the, it's a compensator system for when the air filter gets dirty. But it has to face out towards the air filter. And that's what I was just kind of lining up. Alright, so we have a fuel hose and an impulse hose. Impulse hose is built into the boot, so we just have to connect the fuel hose. I'm going to pinch it off, pull the plug, and push the hose into the fitting on the carburetor. Now the carb assembly can go over the studs. You'll notice that the limiter plugs are in here. That's those red plugs on this side of the carburetor. I didn't take the needles out and clean anything in there. The saw didn't act, well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, on low speed it seemed like it was starving for fuel. But I think that the schmutz and the microscreen could answer for that. I mean, if I'm wrong, I got to take it back apart, right? We also have limited range of adjustability with those caps still on there. And that will actually become a factor later on when I'm trying to adjust the carb. So, 2 8mm nuts. We'll crank these down. There we go. I don't know, there's a piece of hair or string or something on there I had to get off of it. The throttle rod just kind of rolls into place and hooks on the carburetor linkage. Then it snaps down into place on the trigger end. Just like that. Alright, kind of doing a little bit of a function check here, making sure everything seems to be working right. We'll push that dust boot back into place. It's kind of necessary, but it's also kind of a pain in the butt sometimes. Looks like we got it. We don't really need that on there to run it. Let's see if this thing runs. I'm going to try this again with a different screwdriver, and if I can get it to idle right, then that's all I'm going to have for you on the Stihl MS290 that just wouldn't idle right. Thanks for watching. Later.